Okay. Okay.
Now, I don't know whether I answered your question on that, man.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I love that we have this conversation because whenever you share stuff, I just shut up and listen because for me, I want to be a student, right? Like you have so much insight, so much background, so many concepts and things that you were so far ahead. And so I want to see what I can take from us just having this conversation. So I'm just being quiet. That's all I'm saying. I'm just being quiet, man. So tell us a little bit about, let's go back to the Olympics if that's a possibility. Tell us what happened. Tell us everything that unfolded. Tell us who won, what happened, so that people can kind of wrap their mind around the history. So then when they look it up on Google or Insta or whatever social media, they can find out what happened, but they can hear it from you right now.
All right, let me just start by saying, going to the Olympic Games, man, most of the individuals on that team were in their 20s, early to mid 20s.
Okay.
We were very excited about going to the games based on the pageantry, the colors of the various countries coming in with their various colors and their robe and so forth. We was excited about the balloons and the doves that was flying out. And then when we got to the stadium, we realized that it was two types of energy. There was energy, actually, it was three types of energy. The energy of the stadium itself, the ambiance of the stadium was just like, this is the Olympics, and it was big and it was beautiful.
Okay.
And then we go into the stadium and we realize that not only did the stadium have its own energy, now the spectatorship, the energy that they had, how they was raised just waiting for God's gift to society. And then we on the field and running around, jogging around, smiling, laughing, and energy started exploding all over the place. So it was almost like it was magnetic. Everyone was just zeroed in at point zero, and then the competition started. And when the competition started, it was about saying, well, let's go on and run through these rounds. So I think all of the U.S. athletes were going through their rounds almost like a workout more than a race.
Sure.
Going through the formalities to get through the rounds. And I remember at the quarter semi, I approached Mr. Smith and told Mr. Smith that I had a question. And I said to him, man, I'm disappointed in the fact that the boycott was called off, and I'd like to make a statement. What's your thoughts on that? And he said, I'm with you. And when he said that, two things came to my mind. First thing was medals never meant anything to me, in the opposite side of that, medals meant everything to him. Why would I run for a gold medal that has no value to me and it has every value to him? So just the mere fact that he said he was with me in terms of making a statement, he could have the medal. But at the same time, I had to go through the process in my mind.
Right.
For two things. I had to go over to the training area and talk to the coach, to our coach at the university, and say, Bud, I said, man, I got a dilemma. And he said, what's that? I said, man, I want to give this race to Tommy. And man, I don't want this dude to think that I'm some kind of Rudy Pooch,
Right.
Bud said to me, he said, John, you've always been your own man and you're going to do what you think is best. And that kind of solidified the way I was feeling, but I just wanted to get a co-signer, so to speak.
Sure, absolutely.
On the way back to the stadium, I stopped at the phone and I called my boys back in the States. And I told one of them, I said, look, man, tell the fellas don't make no bets. Because all my career, all my boys that I grew up with made bets throughout the time I was running. Don't make any bets because I'm undecided as to what I'm going to do in this race.
Okay.
By the time I hung the phone up and got back into the stadium, I had made up on my mind when the race go, I have to set a precedent to let them know if I want this medal, it's mine. That's why you see me blaze off the turn and you see me looking around telling Tommy to come on if you want the medal. The medal had no value to me other than the fact that, I had the choice to either go for it or give it up. And then once we went into the tape, I was excited when I looked around and to see with Tommy talking to him, I had forgotten about Mr. Norman, Peter Norman, my brother from another mother. Peter Norman, best part of his race, I would say, was the last 20 meters of the 200 meters. And I'd forgotten about him until we got down maybe 10 meters before the finish line. And I said to myself, oh my God, Peter Norman. And you would see me turning from all the way from my left over to my right. And Peter won. And I remember Stan Wright said to me, well, we got first and second. And I told Stan, I said, no, we got first and third. He said, no, we got first and second. I said, if they give me second, I'm going to denounce them because I know Peter won. But at the same time, prior to that, in the race, when Peter didn't be at the tape, I was disenchanted. I was upset until I looked up at the clock. I looked at the clock. I was excited for Peter Norman because he was the first white guy that I saw that ever run that fast.
Wow.
And the second thing that I was probably excited about, maybe even more, is the fact that I looked around for 60, 70 meters, jogging down the track, and I still ran 20 flat. So this is what I came to do in that sense. I ran a very respectful race and still have an opportunity to accomplish what I want to accomplish on the victory stand.
So I want to ask a couple of questions because this is, it's powerful. So first and foremost, let's go back to Peter Norman. When you talk about Peter, and like you said, you guys won gold, silver, and bronze. Tell me a little bit about Peter, because I'm trying to wrap my mind around that relationship that you guys had.
Well, first of all, Peter's from Australia. People don't realize that Australia, their mindset relative to race relations was pretty parallel to the mindset of South Africa. In terms of South Africans responded to the native people, and Australia, how they responded to the native people as well, particularly like the Aboriginal people.
Yeah, the Aboriginal community.